good to have you with us. Firstly, those numbers are quite alarming, aren't they? The death toll now surpassing 8,000. Almost half of those victims are children, and we know the death toll is growing by the hour, by the day. Can you give us your initial reaction to the ongoing bloodshed that we're seeing in Gaza right now?
It is horrifying, really, what is happening in Gaza. There's almost no value left for human lives, really, in this world. Almost. I mean, I hear about humanity hitting rock bottom from people there. I hear about children who are not numbers, and they should never be numbers. But these numbers are quite shocking. And of course, we do expect these numbers to continue to jump rapidly, particularly that a lot of the people could not reach help during the last 48 hours due to lack of communication and all networks being cut by Israel. I think what is happening at the moment is uh, is probably a glaring failure of the international community to stop the bloodshed in Gaza, to stop the siege, and it seems that it is getting worse by the day for children, particularly who are very vulnerable, for pregnant women, and also for people with disabilities, for people with chronic disease. Um, yeah, it's a catastrophe, not just for Gaza, but for the entire world, I would say.
As you say, a lot of people are echoing what you've just said, that this ongoing onslaught is essentially a failure of many in the international community, particularly Western powers. Countries like the United States and the UK have so far refused to call for a humanitarian ceasefire, despite the death toll growing in the thousands. At what point do you think will it take for countries like the US and the UK and some in Europe to call for a ceasefire? How many more thousands of civilians, deaths will it take in order for them to do that?
We have been pressuring. We have been pressuring since day one. We have been asking for immediate ceasefire to take place, and then we had this escalation, and it looked like a ceasefire was no more possible. So we started talking about a humanitarian pause, just to allow civilians some respite. And then when things took a turn in the UN General Assembly, we had hope. We thought we had some hope with the symbolic vote, I should say. We don't know. I mean, we keep pushing these capitals in the West, in the region, neighboring countries as well, Egypt and others. I think that the pressure, and we know that the key is in places like Washington, London, and Paris, and Berlin, and we know that they can and they do pressure Israel. We have seen that some of that pressure on aid, for example, on humanitarian corridors, on allowing aid workers to operate, on not targeting civilians. Sadly, a lot of this has been just talk that has not materialized in concrete action. So we have been continuing. We have been keeping up on that pressure. I think for the next few days, what we want to see is for de-escalation, and obviously any talk of land incursion is going to worsen things for civilians. What we want to see is for aid to come through more frequently and more regularly, and for these capitals to pressure Israel and to pressure all parties to stop these hostilities. I mean, civilians in Gaza have suffered what they have suffered. And with every second that passes by without an agreement, sadly, more civilian lives will be lost.
Okay, Ahmed Bayram for the Norwegian Refugee Council. We'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us on TRT World.
Thank you.